To animate any object within a slide, like a shape, a picture, or how about some text, all you have to do is go ahead and select the object, and for text, click on the text, and note that PowerPoint doesn't see the text separately, but as one entire object, the text box that is. So if you want to animate like force separately from all the other text within that single object, that text box, you have to create its own text box for it. And so you can click anywhere within the box because it'll just see the box as one object and animate all the contents therein, all the text. And so to keep it simple, just click in it. And then to animate the text box and the text therein, then come up here and click on the Animations tab. Go to the Animation group. And there you go. We have none applied to it, but we've got some here like fade. Hover over it, and in the pop-up, it says text or object fades into view. Ooh, fading. That's pretty spooky. Let's go ahead and click on more, and you get more, and it's categorized. Like for your entrances, you can have your, in this case, text box appear, fade in, fly in, or you can do some emphasis like grow or shrink. If you've got some numbers that are increasing, you can really make that grow out and pop out on the slide, or if it's shrinking, that's probably a good idea if the numbers are low so they can't see it. In any case, you can do that, or exit, how you want it to leave, or motion paths, the path that it has to follow in the animation, like in an arc. And we'll cover this in a later training video on advanced animation effects. Now from what you see here, there's more. So if you want to come down below for entrance effects, you've got more on emphasis, exit, and motion paths. So for entrance, let's click on more entrance effects. We get the same appear, and you get more of it. And then down below you get a preview effect, so you don't have to go ahead and select one and click OK to see what it looks like. You can preview it. So if I click and drag this up here so we can see it down below, that if I do like expand, select it, looky there, gave me a preview. Or how about fade? Click on it, goes through it really fast, and you can set the timing on that, but let's just go ahead and find one that we like. Stretch, and that's okay. Well, if I don't like any of them, if I click cancel, it won't apply what I have selected here unless, of course, I click OK, but I won't. I'll click cancel. There's no animation applied to that object, the text box. Let's come back up here, click on more, and what I want to do is I want font color. You can see in the pop-up, text becomes a specified font color. Click on it, and the default is to a hot pink. And so after it plays it through in the auto preview, then it tags it with a number sequentially beginning with 1 to let you know that that's the first animation applied to any of your objects on the slide. And so if I add an additional animation effect to, well, you can apply it to the same object here. Just come up here and click on Add Animation. But that's advanced animation. We'll talk about advanced animation and also timing in a later training video. I want to keep it simple here. So it tags it to let you know that animation is being applied to this. And also over here in the thumbnail preview, you got this little star that has lines behind it. It's like a shooting star. And as you recall in the previous training video on transitions, when you add a transition as you're going from one slide to the next, where the next slide fades in, pushes in, wipes in, it also adds a star. So let me click on animations. By looking at that star, you can't say it's a transition or an animation because it could be one or the other or both. It just means that something's being applied to a transition or animation that you can play all the way through, including the transition effect. So click on it and it plays it through to a hot pink. Of course, if you want to play it through and you don't want to click on the star there, you can come up here on the Animation tab, click on Preview there, and also in addition to that, let me click on the drop down arrow, you have the Auto Preview. So if you have a lot of objects you're applying animations to, and to see each one play out when you apply it is taking up too much time, then uncheck it. So next time when you apply animation like to this text box here, then come up here, let's click on Fly In. It doesn't fly it in. I don't get the auto preview, but it tags it as being the second animation in a series of a total 2, the order of operation being this is the first one, that's the second one. But if I want to see it in action, preview it, well, you can come up here, click on the star, click on Preview here. It does the first one to a hot pink when it's completed its animation, and hey, that one flies in from the bottom. Now, if you don't like the color here or the way this one flies in other words, you want to know if there's more effect options after you apply one of the effects here, well, there you go, effect options. And of course, it's proprietary to the effect that you have selected because since this is flying in, as it's highlighted here, make sure you've got it selected here, the right object. because if you got a lot of text boxes that are flying in, well, you want to make sure that you click in the text box that you want to change the effect option therein. You can also click on the tags here. When I select number 1, you can see the font color is to this text box, or click in the text box, either or. Let me come back up here, click on number 2, so it's a fly in, and click on its effect options. Instead of from the bottom, we could do from the top. And let's come down here and change the color. So instead of going from a light blue to hot pink, click on it and let's go to purple. And then when we're done, let's preview it, and it goes to a purple. Oh, that's not, oh, and that comes down from the top. Now, if it's a bit fast for you, the timing on the way it comes in, or maybe it's too slow, like come up here, it came in really fast. And we'll cover this in a later training video, but to whet your appetite, let's go ahead and click in there, and then come up here on the Animations tab to the timing group, and that's the duration. So if you're like, oh, that's way too fast, you can come and use the spin dial and make it take longer to get from the top down, or you can come in here and just type in 5 and hit enter. And then let's play it through. Click on it. Does our deep purple. Oh, that is painfully slow. For me it is. And there we go, it's done. So you want to see what it looks like when we actually give our presentation, slideshow. Now to begin the slideshow, you can do it one of many ways. You can either come up here and click on the slideshow tab, and to start the slideshow, you can do it from the beginning, and well, that's what we're on, the first slide from the beginning. Or if you're on slide 2, you can still click on the beginning and it will go back to slide 1, or if you do current slide, it's going to be, well, the slide that you have selected here. You can do it that way, or you can come down here on the status bar and click on the slideshow button here, and it will start on the current slide that we see here, number 2. Or you can hit the F5 key on the keyboard, that's a shortcut, and it takes you right to the very beginning, the first slide in the presentation. And so it's waiting for us to do something before it begins the animation. By default, it's all set to a mouse click. So when I click once, it begins the first animation effect. Ooh, that's nice purple. When I click again, it brings down the next one. Oh, that is total focus. Well, notice as far as the color goes, it stays purple, right? It doesn't change back to light blue because this isn't an auto preview. This is a permanent thing in our presentation. It transitions to the color and it stays there, slides down in and it stays there. So when I click on the mouse button, it goes to the next slide. Well, there you go. Let's hit the escape key on the keyboard and go back to slide 1. Oh yeah, one last thing that's pretty important. You can see the tags here for the animations. Those are only viewable on the Animations tab. So if you click off like on the Design tab, you won't be able to see them. You're like, do I have any animation on here? Well, if you look over here in the thumbnail preview, as we talked about, it will indicate that you either have a transition applied to the slide or animation. But if you really want to know if there's animation, you don't care about the transitions, then the only way to find out is going to the Animations tab, and then it reveals the tags tied to the objects of the animation and their order, 1, 2, and so on. Thanks for watching. Hey, as a quick reminder, if you like my video, please give it a thumbs up. You can also click on me and subscribe to my channel to get notified of the latest videos. And for great specials on my products, please see the description below this video.